Get into character because we're already recording. Welcome, everybody, to Universal Benevolence. This is like episode 3, and it's fantastic. I've been trying to get this going so much. And I ran into Christy Floriani, and she is a literacy advocate. And we're going to talk about what she's doing today. Christy, how are you?
I'm better than ever. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Did I nail that, Floriani?
My in-laws, I don't know why, but they say Floriani, so I try to honor them.
Did they migrate from Chicago or something, or Wisconsin?
No, Italy. But we have to ask my husband's family.
They came from Italy, so Floriani is the way to say it. See, it sounds like you're from the Midwest and you're saying it wrong if you say Floriani.
I feel the same way. I cringe every time. I've only had this last name for a few years. Before that, I was Christy O'Brien.
Fantastic. Now that I can pronounce.
Much easier. Yeah.
That one I can pronounce every day of the week and twice on. Okay. Except I usually spell it O'Brien.
Oh, yeah. That happens.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. That's awesome. Where are you at?
I'm in Sarasota right now, enjoying the warmth while Chicago is chilly and snowy.
Oh, so you're a snowbird?
No. I'm blessed by some snowbirds who live down here.
Oh, snowbird by association, adjacent, snowbird adjacent, I guess is what
kind of. There's a bigger context to why we're here. Our friends did bring us down there, but just to dive right in, my husband founded a nonprofit in Chicagoland.
Okay.
And the nonprofit has been planned to be expanding nationally to every major metropolitan area. And so Sarasota is going to be site number 3. So Chicagoland, Milwaukee, and now Sarasota. So we're coming down here to build
Makes perfect sense. You went north and said, wait a minute, what if we tried south?
That's a great story.
I mean, Milwaukee's not like vacation land for Chicago landers, right? I mean,
it's not.
I did a lot of business in Chicago, and it was funny to me when the guys in Milwaukee called the people in Chicago Flatlanders. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
This mountainous state of Wisconsin. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about at all.
I don't know either. They might have been drunk. I don't know what was going on. So what you are, you describe yourself as co-owner and steward.
Yes.
Right? Of Freedon Promotions.
Correct.
But you're also with Family Focus. Is that your husband's NGO or NPO?
No, I was with Family Focus as a home visitor, and it was when I had that position. I was a home visitor to families in need throughout Lake County, near Chicagoland.
Okay,
visiting parents of children prenatal to 3 years old, talking about those early years of brain development, highlighting parents' strengths, connecting them with resources, and that sort of thing.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that was previous. It was during the time I held that position that I met my now husband.
Oh, okay.
So we met each other because our missions are similar. I guess in Venn diagram.
Wise, yeah. Missions are wise, right? I mean, that's
yeah. So
that's fantastic. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we met because at the nonprofit that Brian Floriani started in Chicagoland is a book distribution service. Think of a food bank. It's called Bernie's Book Bank in Chicagoland, and it's in honor of his father, Bernie Floriani. And
Floriani.
Floriani. Now I'm gonna forget and mess up. But
You're gonna screw it up like every day for the next like month and a half because of this whole situation here. You're definitely traumatized. I could tell.
well, I can't share this pod with my mother-in-law now, can I?
Well, she may sit you down over a pot of red sauce and or does she call it gravy or sauce?
Oh, so she's not so much of a chef.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird too,
Yeah.
right?
So, but
I'm
I'm
beginning to doubt that they're Italian at all. But let's get back to Bernie's book. We were way off topic.
yeah,
Let's Bernie's book bank. What is going on
yeah.
with Bernie's book bank?
So my husband Brian was a golf professional. He had a major life event,
Of course he was.
right.
What else with a name like O'Brien would he be?
Oh, O'Brien. That O'Brien's my maiden name. His was Floriani.
Oh yeah, he's Floriani. Yeah, that's right. We're all confused here. All right, I'm going to shut up and let you tell me about Bernie's
He
bank.
doesn't get the privilege to have the O'Brien name. Plus, Brian O'Brien, that'd be rough. Okay,
That would be rough. You're right.
so in honor of his father, Bernie Floriani, who was born, first generation to Italian and Polish immigrants, grew up in Western Pennsylvania. His father didn't have running water till he went to college.
Oh wow.
Um, and he got a basketball scholarship to college, and that's what helped him read his way out of the coal mining world, which was where his father and his grandfather,
Gotcha. So he was Pittsburgh area. He's like Washington, PA, Johnstown, Irwin. He's down in that area, right? Down towards
um,
West Virginia, Wheeling, Ohio, or Wheeling, West Virginia, Steubenville, Ohio, that area there.
I
So
don't
like
even know. Yeah.
yeah, like it's southwest Pittsburgh
Okay.
or Pennsylvania. Because northeast there's not much, there's no coal mining there. It's down in a mountain area. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
know the area. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I know the area of it quite well down there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the small town is like a Suterville or something.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So his father grew up, with minimal opportunities
Yeah.
in the town that he was in, but he was able to get up out of that and into college, and then literally read his way to become actually a leader in the literacy field, the literacy education field, for that time, and in Ohio and Pennsylvania. So he got his doctorate, and just was an avid learner and teacher.
And we're talking about Bernie.
Yeah, so Brian, my husband, his father is Bernie.
Yeah.
What was Bernie is Bernie. His father passed, and Brian went through. I'm kind of condensing his story because I think he'll be a guest on here as well and can
Oh
explain.
yeah, no, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to have
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So he went through kind of a wake up moment, let go of golf, and embraced literacy. He saw firsthand, he went into the schools as a reading paraprofessional, not a very
Wow.
glamorous job after being a golf teacher for Golf Digest.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay, wow. So he gave up like a real career, not like mine on Sundays where I'm not on TV or anything. Unless
yeah,
I hit somebody in the head and then news comes or something like that.
that's right.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Okay.
He gave it up.
So he was an actual golfer.
He was a real golfer, and he learned a little bit more about literacy and what's between the kids in low income communities. What's holding them back from learning and becoming as proficient as children in more connected, better resourced communities and schools. So one
Right.
of the things he learned, and you have kids, right?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
absolutely do.
Yeah. So your kids, as well as ours, are assigned, 20, 30 minutes of reading at home every night, right? So
Yeah.
the kids in the low resource school that he was working in back in 2009 didn't have books at home and could check out books from their school library but could not take them home. And people get upset about that, but if you're a library that's low on resources, how many times can you see $12 walk out of the room and
And
not come
never
back?
come
And
back.
it's, it's not the children's responsibility at this age. So he wanted to approach literacy and take a variable that could be addressed and could be fixed. And one of these big variables is book ownership in homes. So over 61% of families in low resource communities have zero books. And I'm guessing if we were to go to your kids' bookshelves, or the bookshelves in this home I'm staying at, there's a plethora of books. And that,
Yeah, I mean, not so much physical though anymore. A lot of electronic, right? So yeah, as they grew older, it moved to the Kindle and now on their iPads and stuff like that, right? I mean, 10 and 12-year-olds, and they have been, just prolific on their iPads and reading and stuff for, man, well over 5 years already. I mean, just
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, the advancements, if you just pay attention and do it, are if you have resource to that. But we're talking about people who don't, right?
You don't necessarily have connectivity, or you have one computer, if at all. Most of these families
Yeah,
are working from their phone, like many of us that are busy.
yeah.
So he saw the the positive correlation between books and homes and reading readiness in kindergarten.
Absolutely.
Great, we can get books to homes. That's something we can do. So he started the book bank out of his garage and on a credit card while he was working two other jobs, with a baby on the way, right in 2009, right after
Wow.
economic
Yeah, it was a crash. Yeah, it
changes.
was a
Yeah,
disaster. Yeah.
yeah. So perfect timing, as it always is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's when it always happens. I mean, that's it. You look for guidance, and it rarely comes in a nice shiny package with a bow on it. It's like, okay, you want to do something? Here you go.
There you
Make this
go. Yeah,
happen.
careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So he started back in 2009, and he had the advantage of being naive. He might say ignorant, but I'll say naive about the whole nonprofit world. And again, this is a topic we could go into, but really, he was starting a nonprofit with a business mentality. So he started Bernie's Book Bank, and it grew because he was offering to be a partner in the community, not looking for handouts. And so together we rise, right? So he built
Yeah.
some great relationships, and he'll never take credit for Bernie's Book Bank because it was through all the people that were swelling around this mission, that Bernie's Book Bank became the place that it is now. So they're now in over 65,000 square feet. They're serving over 300,000 Chicagoland children every year with 8 books.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just a, hey, bring it back if you care to type of thing? Or I mean, well, I'll talk to him about it, but I see these little like book banks and even food, like small self-serve food banks around,
Uh-huh.
like outside of certain, like churches, et cetera, where you can just leave a book, take a book. And some of them actually have like canned food in them and stuff like that, where people
Like,
leave and take and that type of thing. Is it
yeah.
that type of?
So I'll get to their model, but what you mentioned, I think, are the little free libraries.
Yeah, the little free library.
Yep.
Exactly. That's
Yep.
exactly it.
And when I get to Freedom Promotions, our company, I'll share a little bit more about Little Free
Well, we need to
Libraries.
move on to that because we're going to have Brian O'Brien Floriani. I just
Okay.
hyphenated his name for him.
All
Our,
right. So he,
we're going to have him on, and we're going to go all through that model. But that is a
please,
fantastic story right there. No, I'd love to
yeah,
just have him reach out to me, please.
yeah.
But
Okay.
let's get to you. So did that take? So now you're Freedom Promotions, which
Mhm.
promotes literacy for all. So I guess there's inspiration from what your husband was doing too. So you shared a bit what you were doing at Family Focus. So you've had that kind of that servant attitude for a while in your life, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect, but by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had that servant mindset ever since I can remember.
Yeah,
So I chose social work as my career. I didn't transfer from golf or business. I have my master's degree in social work, and that's been my passion. And
gotcha.
over 3 decades of working with families in low resource communities, where my mission is to work myself out of a job,
Yeah,
I know that there's, really one place that parents put their hope into. It's hard to hope when you're getting kind of beat down by life, but they look at their children and they hope for their education because let's face it, in the US and probably many other places, you can rise by who you know or what you know. And
yeah.
so, yeah, so family,
One's an easier path, I would argue, but yes.
well, it's easier for some and not for others.
Yeah, yeah, but that no, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
absolutely right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
So education's
Wow.
critical. And then if we're backing up, like I said, that early brain development, the exposure to words, it's all very important. And we believe, both Brian and I believe inherently that if everyone can read, we'd be a better society financially and socially. So there's so much more that can happen through literacy and through education. So together we got married in 2022, and that's when we kicked off Freedom Promotions. So now I'll get to Freedom
Okay.
Promotions.
That
So
is yeah, tell us what they
yeah,
do and then we'll dig into all the fun rabbit holes.
yeah. What we do at Freedom Promotions is make um, products for embroidered apparel, promotional products, swag, merch, giveaways at trade shows,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because we know that promotional products are a $26 billion industry.
Is
That was
that right?
2024's number. Yeah. And that service and those products, corporate entities need them and they use their marketing budget to get those things, right? So
Correct.
we provide the goods and service in an excellent, as excellent standards and same cost, no difference other than that. And then we are willing to take our profits and put them into literacy initiatives. Just another way to get more momentum towards literacy projects. And
That is fantastic.
that's where little free libraries come in. They have an impact program. Little Free Libraries is worldwide, and they have an impact program where, just like you said, they put those little houses on a post in
Yeah.
in communities where they don't have the neighbor steward
So
to.
you're promoting you're supporting that type of stuff through
We have,
free.
we have 4 beneficiaries with Freedom Promotions. We have
Okay.
Bernie's Book Bank. It's
Uh-huh.
expanding nationally.
So that's
Um,
that's weird. I wouldn't imagine that there would be a just kidding.
sarcasm.
Do
Okay.
you know the guy? I can introduce you.
Yeah, I might. Um, let's see, we've got Little Free Libraries, Bernie's Book Bank, and then Read Alliance and Reading Partners, 2 others that are national organizations just doing a great job for literacy. More on the,
It's wild.
um,
I we talk about literacy, and when I was first introduced to you, um, I was like, okay, wow, this is like to me, at least in my mind, it's like this forgotten issue. Um, because I can now remember growing up, seeing it as pushed on TV so much, you know.
mhm.
And I just don't now. I think back. I think, I just don't see that as such an issue anymore. What are the stats on that? Do you have stats for us and things? Because it's almost like you thought, well, this was solved.
You'd think, but no. And of course, the pandemic and the loss
Oh,
of
wow.
education.
That really put a dent in things, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So some statistics. Um, let's see, 35% or 35 million adults, roughly 35 million adults, don't have eighth grade reading and writing levels.
That's
And
10% of our population
that number continues to grow.
to
Um,
grow.
yeah, the number of the percentage of people incarcerated and in juvenile detention, it's outlandish, and I don't want to say the wrong numbers, but the majority of people who find themselves there are also not reading and writing at a sixth grade level. Some not even at a third grade
Well, it
level.
makes sense because I mean, if you got to support yourself or your family in many cases,
Mhm.
as young adults have to support their older, their parents, etc. In that type of situation, there's only so many jobs you can get if you can't read or write, and a
Exactly.
lot of them don't are a bit nefarious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
completely. And you're not empowered if you're not able to read.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Does that include like English skills only, or it's just interesting with the influx? There's so many Spanish speaking in the
mhm.
United States, and I would imagine that there's a high illiteracy rate there. I mean, as far as English, right?
Yeah, that can be a rabbit hole we can get into too,
Okay,
because
all right,
by no
continue.
means do we want to say that people who can read and write in another language but not English are illiterate.
No, but their
You know?
literacy of English is not as well, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like calling someone ignorant is like a bad word, but it's really not. It just means they just don't know the facts or are not exposed to it. That's all it really means.
Well, it kind of depends on how you say it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can say it in a way that is, yeah,
Yeah.
quite offensive.
Yeah.
I'm an expert at offending people, by the way,
Oh, good.
accidentally most of the time, but
All right. Yeah. Hit me. Um, verbally. Yeah. So it's something I forgot what we were our track.
we were talking about the fact
Oh,
that you would think that literacy would be like, or illiteracy would be something that's solved already, like the plague
mhm,
or
mhm.
something. Like, I mean, come on, it's 2025.
Right.
Last I checked, which I can't even believe I said that right because it's still early enough in the year I would make the mistake and say 2024. But this is something that is ridiculously embarrassing as a human that we still have this issue.
Yeah. And so for me as a social worker, over the decades, I was seeing that the children I worked with in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the 10s, they're having babies, and the biggest correlation between literacy or reading proficiency as you enter kindergarten um, is a mother's level of education and reading and
Sure.
writing
I would
skills.
imagine. Yeah.
So so as I think more and more about that and how literacy can change a person's life, because they can use it to get jobs, they can use it to maintain good health, they can use it to be informed voters, they can use it to become better in a topic or learn more
Mm.
about other things. So I just became more and more convinced that we really needed to get proactive um, in the early years of a child's life, because actually by kindergarten, sometimes it's already over as a child enters kindergarten. If they're
Really?
2 years behind, 2 or 3 years behind their peers who have been spoken to, who have been reading books, it's really hard to get that to get up to speed, to have the foundational framework in their brains. And then by third grade, if you're not reading by third grade, thereafter, you're reading to learn other things. Up until third grade, you're still learning to read. Great.
Okay. Yeah. For the most part, I would see that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you're exceptional, right?
Right, right. So third grade is kind of a cutoff where reading instruction is not really happening anymore. You use those skills, reading and writing skills, to learn all the other topics, science, math, trades, everything you need to be able to read.
Yeah.
So that's, just a really poignant piece of the puzzle for me. When I said
But that's
working
a.
myself out of a job, I said to
I don't think
myself,
you're. I
look,
don't think you're going to do it in your lifetime. I don't think you're going to work yourself out of a job in your lifetime. I hate to say it, but you're probably not.
I'm not. I'm okay with it. I don't want it to take that long, but I hope that I've been able to work myself out of a job for some families, you
Well,
know?
sure, sure. I mean, and that's what you have to celebrate, right? Or
Yeah,
those wins that you're hitting.
yeah,
I mean, those are really sad facts because it's really hard to insert yourself or be, whether it's through your own action or being invited into the family at that stage, right? I mean, pre-kindergarten, the family and the child are still. I mean, now we weren't that way, but I mean, we're blessed in different ways than other people are. But their family and their children are not very social. I mean, they're not exposed to, especially of a certain, if if they're a poor family or an impoverished type of family, they're not going to mommy and me daycare or social groups, et cetera. They're fairly secluded, right? Until in many instances, government controlled daycare happens, which is a thought process, and they start going to school, and it's like, okay, they're out of my hair for 8 hours today,
yeah,
which
yeah.
sadly is the case in many of those families, right?
Yeah, I saw it all. I saw moms who were purposefully, at home moms and really worked with their children.
Yeah,
I saw moms and dads who, used whatever spare time they had to attend events with their children.
yeah.
The desire is there. The resources aren't. So we really want.
Okay, so you think it's more a resource? Okay, and I'm relying on you because I'm not there. I
Yeah,
just don't understand. I guess what I was getting, yeah, because generational poverty is difficult to break,
it is. Yeah.
and this seems like it is. And maybe I'm wrong, but it really appears like this would be a wealth tag thing. Is that true? Is it really, is it skewed towards, it
Yes.
is, right? I'm not assuming that,
No,
and I'm not.
you're absolutely correct. You know how we decide where the money goes in the public school system. Your
Oh
tax
yeah, sure, sure.
fund, and that goes back into the community, which makes sense on paper, and unfortunately, it leaves some without. I am in no way qualified to say this or that economic system would be better for that, or
Right,
this is
right.
the true path for universal literacy. I'm
Yeah,
the person who's equipped to roll up my sleeves, get on the floor, and talk about what parents are already doing with their kids and what they can do, to boost that infrastructure in their brain and to boost the curiosity for learning later in life. So that's where I'm coming at this. Literacy has a many pronged approach. Like I said, there's tutoring, there's book distribution, and then there's the type of education that they get. And I could point to experts, and I'm not one of them in terms of the kind of education that
sure,
they get.
sure.
Yeah. So this has been my passion before I had a sort of a promotional products company, to get money towards literacy.
No,
Our companies,
it's a brilliant move. It's a brilliant
it's
move.
it's been a blast. If you told me when I got my master's degree in social work back in '99, that I'd be in a promotional products company, I would have, I would have been disappointed at least. All right. I would have thought, Christy, what? But if you
No, but
told
I
me,
could be making so much money. I could be
right,
doing.
right, 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 the titles and the glamour. Uh,
I could be chief human resources officer. I could making $250,000 a year, base pay type of stuff.
those are facts, and
Those
it's
are facts.
yeah, it's not lost on me that I'm grateful that I let go of those opportunities to choose this path, which has been, a lot more humble.
But fulfilling too. I mean, part of our discussion here is to inspire others to go, you know what, I have that passion as well, but they're locked into this constant search to extract the satisfaction from the title and the money, and
Yes,
it's just never there.
yeah, yeah,
And they start to assign false credit for some of their happiness, right? And if they really looked into it, they would say, wait a minute. The things that Christy is doing, however you pronounce her last name, doesn't matter. That's where I really find.
yeah, yeah. That's, am I successful? Yeah, my bottom line is, growth. So if you told me my my however old I was in 99, my 20 something year old self. Uh-oh. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. Okay.
One second. All right, there we go. Slight hiccup. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I
Where were we at? Somebody in the audience.
back in 1999 when Christy
99.
O'Brien got her master's degree in social work and took a peek into the future and selling promotional products in her 50s.
That's right.
Yep. I would have been upset. I would have been disappointed. Now, if you told me back in 1999 that Christy has been able to give in the past 2 years $60,000 to four, organizations that are doing the good work, I might pat myself on the back a little bit. So
That is satisfaction, right?
yeah, yeah, that's where I can find that bottom line again. And so what we do, with CSR, corporate social responsibility, being such a big buzzword right now because it matters, not because, hopefully, not because it's just trendy, but because it matters to be connected to communities and companies that are built on a financial bottom line. They can only do so much philanthropically.
Mm.
The desire is there. The desire is there, but it's not the right place. However, they have big marketing budgets. So it's very simple. We offer them a product and service, which is their promotional products, everything, bespoke branded items to give away, to bring to trade shows, to have their employees wear, client gifts. We offer them this service and these goods, and in effect, they get that exact product at the price they would pay anywhere else, and they get the impact, knowing that we're giving money to these literacy initiatives. And we're different. Nobody else is doing this. We're different than anyone. Some people have a 1, 2, 5% give back. We're giving back 100% of our profits. into those four beneficiaries that I listed before.
Because you're not publicly traded, right? You don't have stakeholders that are looking for, right?
Correct. We're a for-profit company, but we're just a couple of years old. So what we did,
So
knowing,
you are a for-profit legally.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we're a
gotcha.
for-profit
And
company.
why that? Is it flexibility for why for-profit and not non-profit? Is it just easier or what?
It's because it's the business model. We are for profits because we want to make profits because we're going to do something different with our profits than any other promo products company. And we're going to invest them in other nonprofit organizations that are doing good work. Think
So if you're a
Bombas.
nonprofit,
Yeah.
you have to expend all of your profits into the business. Is that what it is, or price?
As many years as I've had in the NPO sector, I don't know exactly, but what I do know about what we do is that
Is the use
we're
is
able
what
to
you
give back.
do?
And
That
we
is
are, we're not new in terms of this business model concept. You'll see a lot more coming up, but you,
Yeah, no. I'm actually OPT USA is a company that
oh,
I
great.
helped found here, and we're for profit, but it's totally social driven, and well, it's more environmentally driven, recycling plastics, et cetera. But yeah, same exact setup,
Yes,
which is
amen.
tremendous.
So, yeah, so, think Bombas socks, get one, give one. It's the same with us. We just do
Yeah.
it differently.
Now, so I mean, you talk about going, back then. And we'll talk more about what you were doing, but I want to talk a little bit about how you got into it and looking back, going, okay, here it is, 26 years later. Um, not to make you feel bad about that, but it's
Not at
26 years
all.
later from 1999.
Yeah, I'm joyful.
Yeah, but and you look back and go, man, I'm so glad that I did this, right?
Yeah,
You by doing this, it's not. I mean, you're not, you know, living an impoverished life due to this. I mean, you can make a good living and be giving all the profits of the company away, right? I
yes,
mean, this is,
I
I
think
mean,
so.
this is not a, I mean, people don't have to choose security for their family and and comfort over being a socially responsible or altruistic company like you guys are.
Agreed.
Is that
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
As I
And
want to get that across to people that virtuous or conscious capitalism is what you're doing, and
yes,
it's fantastic, and it's what used to be around much more than it is now. But it seems like we're going that way, and more people like you that come out and talk about this, the better off the world is going to be, because you can do good and be a profitable business. Now, what you do with
absolutely.
your profits is a totally different thing. Your good is the profits, right? Others, the good may be the product or the
Correct.
service that
Yes.
makes right, like in recycling and or whatever it happens to be, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a stigma that people feel like if you're going to choose the sustainable or the positive impact product,
Or the
think
CSR impact.
think of paper towels in the grocery store. You can
Yeah,
choose this brand that's bright white and has no, just we know it works, and you can choose the brand that's not bleached or not bleached white, and the brand that's not as effective at picking up, your spills and is brownish costs more, right? Than the one
yeah,
that's fancy. So we have to let go of that stigma. We're providing the same pricing model as
right.
from any
Gotcha.
other promotional products company. So
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't have
not
to
costing
be
more. Well, your products are not the positive and not negative impact, but it's we're not talking about cups made out of old shoes and stuff like that. These are high quality stuff. It's the profits that are making the impact in the literacy world for future generations and current, I suppose.
yes, and our clients have the opportunity to choose products that
Yeah.
also, are
Okay, so you've got
yeah,
sustainable products and stuff like that in there as well. So you got a mix. I got you.
we do.
I'm
We
looking
do.
at the website right now, freedompromotions.com. I
Yeah.
mean, it's high quality, good looking stuff. It
Yeah.
really is.
Thanks. Thanks.
I
It's
mean,
we did, when Brian
I'm
and I
looking at it as I would just buy this with the Freedom Promotion for all on it. I mean,
we do
just
get
I
into
love it.
yeah.
Freedom Promotions literacy for all. I'll take a cup.
What
Love
size are you?
it.
Yeah, so yeah, we do. It's not co-branded. We just did some things to, show off on our website.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's fantastic logos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks.
I really do like it.
So
So,
we,
and there's examples on there of some different people who have used it, right?
yep, we've had a lot of success with banks. Baxter Credit Union is a client we're proud to have. Think of going into a bank. You've got pens, you've got apparel, you've got, doodads that they give out at their grand openings. Um, there's so many. Once you think about branded products that show off your business, you really can't stop seeing them everywhere you go. Yeah.
That's really true. I mean, it really is. The stuff works. It
Yeah.
definitely works.
Yeah.
So you've given away what 60? You said $60,000 so far in the
Yeah.
last what?
In
How
our
long? What?
first 2 years. And I want to
That's
be
fantastic.
clear, Michael, because I know if anyone's in the industry that we're in, they'll say, the first 2 years, you're still learning everything. We are smart enough to know where we're ignorant. And we don't, Brian and I did not start this because we're specialists in promotional products.
Right.
We found the people who are specialists. We have already the infrastructure set. So we have a production facility, we have a production team, on-site screen printing and embroidery, the ability to build stores for clients or spirit stores for schools. We have very mass order.
Virtual stores.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, not brick and mortar. Yeah, so we're able to hit the ground running and partner with people who are much more experienced in this field than we are, and that's really helped. So
That is fantastic. Do you own your own production facilities? Is that, or you're just contracting with others?
the production facility, yeah, without getting too much into how we,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
the economics of it
Is
all.
that one? Is that one of your items right there that you're
Oh,
holding in your hand?
it is, but I put a sticker over the logo. So
I like the microbus. Very cool.
yeah, if you'll see right down there, it says Freedom on the
And the license plate. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I see it. Yeah, and it's
yeah,
got your bird on the front.
yep, the eagle.
Yeah.
Hush hush, but we're changing, we're rebranding soon. So
Oh. Okay.
stay
Shh.
tuned.
Don't tell anybody. This is
Yeah,
just between you, me, and them.
I don't expect anyone to listen to this.
What?
I'm joking.
I was gonna say, come on, Christy, that was rough. That
Yeah.
was that was a rough one right there.
I thought you were slinging the sarcasm. I thought I'd throw one out.
Yeah, what the heck? I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not. I'm too stupid to be offended by any of that sort of stuff. This is great. So, you guys, you're experiencing growth. Is there more and more people coming on?
Absolutely. We've grown. We've tripled this year. Our just to date, we've tripled what we did last year to
Oh
date.
wow, that's fantastic.
It's exciting. It's a thrill. Yeah. And we just are really gathering a momentum that we feel like is just going to be a freight train. moving fast.
Yeah.
So
Do you
yeah.
provide any statistics in a dashboard or anything like that back to those who use your products or anything like that? Do you have a X number of books given or anything like that? Counting
We
tickers?
don't. What we'll probably be able to do is just tell how many dollars have been invested. So we are moving from an annual contribution to a monthly contribution to those four beneficiaries. So our clients will be able to see, what their money is going towards, but not an exact, breakdown of what the benefactors or beneficiaries are doing with that money. They'd have to
Yeah,
go to that site and see, where they're spending their money, because we're
I
not
gotcha.
going to get that, kind of
I
that
just,
granular.
there would be a value. I would think, and maybe there's not, but I would think that it would seem to me there'd be a value to the companies who utilize your products to be able to extract some sort of data that would then bolster their CSR, like you talked about,
Yeah.
right? They, and do that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a vision, part of our goals for the future.
yeah,
But again, yeah, quantifying it can be tricky. So we're in
yeah.
startup mode right now. We just want to get the money in the right place. Get the best service to the right people, and make it happen that way. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Um, I thank you so much for coming on. I mean, I'm looking at the time going, 14 minutes, but actually, this is the second half.
That's
So I'm like, wait a minute. I've kept her here quite a long time.
that's
Um, it's been really good. It's been really good. I would really hope that you talk to your husband and say, hey, this is fantastic. You need to go on the show, because I'd really love to have him on and talk about Bernie's book bank as well, because
great.
that would be fantastic. Literacy is very, very, very obviously important, and such a needed and simple tool
Right.
to to help. And I love the fact that you talk about how much better our society would be if everybody was literate. I mean, could read and write at a higher proficiency, or at all, in many cases. And that really just speaks to, if you break that down to its reality, it's like, if you just reach out and give somebody a hand and pull them up, man, just think, if everybody did that to one person,
Yep.
how great it would be. And you're doing it, and I applaud you for doing that. And hopefully this will inspire others to do it and bring all the business to your promotion, freedompromotions.com. Yes, there is an S. Freedompromotions.com.
And
And
let me point out
yeah.
that it's Freadom.
Oh, that's right. I didn't do
So
that.
read is at the center. Freedompromotions.com. So yes.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that. I'll make sure when I do the promotions to get that out there that way as well. That's
Yeah.
been fantastic. I love it. Thank you, Christy. And thank you, everybody else. Universal benevolence, peace, and love, everybody. Until next time.
Thanks.